Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome back to another Real Madrid review. Barcelona 2, Real Madrid 1, and I can officially say that the Laliga title race is officially over. The game that would have either ensured Barcelona were going to be La Liga winners or potentially gave Real Madrid a chance, a tiny bit of hope, but at least it's over. I think for both sides, the draw, and I think for Real Madrid, getting the draw would have been the worst result. I know you'd rather get a point than nothing, right? But at least we know now that the Liga is over, and then we can just move on to try to focus in the other competitions. And I'm not gonna say that we are gonna win the Champions League. I'm not gonna say we can win the Copa del Rey, even though yes, we are 1-0 down. So look, there is potential, there is optimism that we could do something. But you need to realize that at Real Madrid, if we don't win the Champions League, we don't win the Liga, we don't win the Copa del Rey, we don't win the Super Copa, and all we win this season is the Club World Cup, Ancelotti will be having and facing a lot of pressure. Now, I know maybe his relationship with Perez and the club is good, but have we not seen it before where Ancelotti was sacked, Zidane came in and changed, and it was a revolution, and it was a different Real Madrid side. And I think it could be the time for that. It could be the time for that. And look, I'm not saying get rid of Ancelotti because I don't think those performances could be 100% down to his fault. Obviously, the squad depth is an issue. We don't have a backup striker to Benzema, and we have to be addressing that issue. We must still rely on Carvajal at right back. Nacho is playing left back, and I know Mendy is back, but he wasn't fully fit. So what do you expect more? But of course, you know, you have to blame it on the players. The manager has to get some blame, and ultimately, I think what will happen is if we end this season off with no trophies except for the Club World Cup, I could see the board and Perez and just everyone at Real Madrid ruthless enough to sack Ancelotti, and it's obviously not something we want to see. But if it has to be done, it needs to be done. You know, I'm fed up of this. Look, Barcelona, congrats, they were the better side. I look at my, stats here, and I look at the list of chances here. I see two chances for Real Madrid, and one of them was the goal, and one of them was a disallowed offside goal. Except for these two chances, I don't go back and look at the game and go, this is a very good chance, this is a very good chance. But I look at Barcelona, they were attacking, they were playing incredibly well. Xavi has changed this Barcelona side into a different kind of animal. And I think Real Madrid have to move on from this as well. If Ancelotti can't deliver us any trophies this season, I think it's time to move on. And look, that isn't trying to say Ancelotti has had an incredibly poor, managerial career. No, it doesn't say that, right? It just says that maybe it's time to move on. Maybe it's time to change things up. Yes, we were Champions League winners last season. Yes, we were the Liga winners last season. Yes, Ancelotti has won us the Champions League before. He's won us the Ligas. He has done it. But if he can't do it now, we can only look at the history. We can only go back to 2014 and say, oh, we won a Champions League back then. Yes, we can do that. And yes, we can say, oh, last season we won a Champions League. But it doesn't help us overcome the situation and, the little bumps that we have right now that we have to overcome. And I just worry. I worry for Ancelotti and his not essentially not job, but and more like he's maybe it is kind of like a job, but I'm sure many teams and national teams out there will be looking at Ancelotti going, there you have one of the greatest managers, greatest coaches of all time free. So we'll definitely, jump on that ship. But first up, I do want to say, like I said, congrats to Barcelona. And I know it sounds sarcastic, but I genuinely think that Barcelona have won La Liga now. I think there's no way back. 12 points with, 12 games to go. I don't expect us to do anything. And I don't expect Barcelona to drop any more points, really. maybe they'll drop a couple of points, but I don't think they'll drop 12 points. There's 4 losses. 4 losses in 12 games. It's not going to happen. So you know what? Fair play to Barcelona. They've done really, really well this season. I look at that team and I go, there's a mix of young players, but you've got players who are the older players leading this side. Busquets, Lewandowski, Roberto. I think he's a very underrated player. You know, you've got these players, but you also got your Pedri, your Gavi, you know, Araujo. And look, I'm not saying Real Madrid lack any of those. I think you've got great captain and great leadership in Benzema and Modric and Cruz. But you've also got young players like Modric and not Modric. What am I talking about? I mean, technically, right? But Vinny Jr. and Tchouaméni and Camavinga. You know, you've got these younger players in there as well. But what I think is lacking here, it's almost like Barca are a team that want to win this La Liga trophy. They are hungry, they have the desire. I mean, you put both teams on paper, right? I don't see much of a differences. I think Benzema, Lewandowski, debate all you want, but they're two fantastic strikers. You got Vinny Jr., Gavi, okay, maybe not the best comparison, but two very young players. You got technically Valverde against Rafinha, two very, very good players as well. Different players though. You got the likes of Modric, Cruz, Camavinga, even Tchouaméni in there. Some mix of old players, but also the young blood in there. But you look at Barca, they've got, you know, Busquets, who isn't young anymore. Gavi and Pedri and Kessie. You know, that is very, very, very similar in terms of the age profile. Defensively wise, they've got Balde, they've got Koundé, they've got Araujo, they've got Christensen, Roberto. You know, look at Real Madrid, they've got, I mean, if you're based on who played, Nacho played. I said in a Liverpool game for or in one of my last few videos that Nacho is a player who can get the job done. He can, you know, do what he is told to do, but can he bring you more than that? No, he can't. You know, ask him to stay back and defend and man mark Rafinha. I'm sure he could probably do a good job, but you know, down the left hand side, Nacho isn't going to let you, you know, play more of a attacking flow football. And I think, you know, if he can't offer that, and we don't have any other left back, I don't think Mendy is a good attacking fullback. You know, he's more of a defensive fullback. I think, you know, ultimately Barcelona could say Rafinha, because Nacho won't be attacking our right hand side. You can stay forward. You don't have to come back. You know, you can last for longer periods of the game, because if you're playing against a team who has a left back who is a very attacking left back, you will have to keep him quiet, and Nacho doesn't give you that, and even Ferland Mendy doesn't give you that. So you have to look at that left back spot going, what's next? Is it time for Mendy to go? And I've been backing Mendy for a very long time, but you know, is it time to go? Nacho, again, like I said, a tidy defender. He gets the job done. He cleans up when he's told to do so, and he does a solid job. I said this, right? He isn't going to be a luxury Rolls Royce defender. He's not going to be a 10 of 10, right? But he can get you what is necessary on the basic level, 5 out of 10, a straight pass. He can get you what it's done. But at Real Madrid, are we looking for 5 out of 10s or 9 out of 10s and 10 out of 10s? You know, and that is what we have to be looking at. Nacho is a great squad player. You know, I'm sure his captain material, his captain quality, is a leader. You know, but he isn't going to be a left back choice for the future. And I saw this ridiculous, and I saw many ridiculous people and fans saying that Camavinga should be considered a left back. You're wasting a talent, and I know Camavinga didn't have the best game ever, but if you think Camavinga should play left back, I have no idea what you're on. Like, I don't know what you're on. But overall, you know, both teams, like I said, pretty similar in terms of players they've got. So, you know, it comes down to the mentality and the hunger and the desire. And maybe this team is more rooted and more competitive and more desired to win the Champions League. Who knows? we've got a huge game against Chelsea in a month's time. 2 games, first game at home, second game away at Stamford Bridge. But we'll talk about that as we get to it, because now we've got like 2 weeks of international break or something like that, and then we get back to a few Laliga games, and then we've got that second game against Barcelona in the Copa del Rey, which is going to be so tough because we are coming to the Camp Nou again. We are playing Barcelona again off the back of losing, and I look at the last few games against Barca, exclude the 3-1 win early on this season, where Barca actually played quite well, to be fair. Our last few games, we lost 3-1 in the Super Copa in Saudi Arabia, and we lost 1-0 in the Copa del Rey first leg at the Santiago Bernabeu, and then now we have lost 2-1 at the Spotify Camp Nou. I look at all 3 games, I don't see any sort of good performances, but I do think this performance at the Camp Nou was the best of our last 3 games. Good start, somewhat, with the early goal. Own goal by Araujo. Vinny Jr. with a cross, and it's headed into his own goal by Araujo. Bit of an unfortunate situation for Araujo there. We'll take it though, 1-0. That's what we all thought, right? I was actually sleeping at this time. I was asleep, and then I woke up in the middle of the night while this game was happening. I checked my phone. It was like 1-0 to Real Madrid. I was like, oh my days, we're actually winning this game. So I went back to sleep, and I woke up later on, and then I saw it's 1-1. I'm like, God damn it. And then I went back to sleep. I woke up in around the 80th minute, and I saw Asensio score. I'm like, whoa, what? And then I went back to sleep again, and then I woke up and I saw Barcelona 2, Real Madrid 1. I was like, wait, but did Asensio score? Wait, what's happening? And then I realized when I woke up, it was offside, and Barcelona went on to win the game. That was a very, very, very sad. That's one of the worst ways to wake up. Waking up, realizing your team is winning, going back to sleep, realizing that your team is drawing, going back to sleep, realizing that your team is winning, going back to sleep, and then realizing when you wake up eventually that your team is losing and has lost. It's such a painful experience. If you guys have experienced that, let me know. But that is really, really, really sad. But enough of my life. Let's talk about the goal. Rafinha's first time shot is blocked by Militao, but Roberto finishes on the rebound, 1-1 at the stroke of halftime as well. Not a good time to concede. And then Kessie wins it for Barcelona. Balde pulls it back for Kessie in the box, and he scores. Gutted, man. If you look at the overall game, Barcelona, it was their game really. It was the game that will play at their turf, at their place. We brought the game to them, and they knew that they had to win in order to win the Laliga, really. 1-0 to Real Madrid early on, and maybe Real Madrid could do something in this one. But Barcelona, with that fighting mentality, that fighting spirit, to show that they are not going to be a side that will be pushed over by anybody. And you know what? Fair enough. A lot of people out there saying that Barca own Real Madrid and stuff like that. Obviously I don't want to, agree with that statement. I don't want to say, oh, I'm a Real Madrid fan, but Barcelona own us, because that is just a very, very, very silly thing to say. But what I will say is, our track record and our history against Barcelona in the last few games have been awful. And go back to last season and even the few seasons before, you never really seem to play really, really well against this Barcelona side. And look, we can go to play against Liverpool and smash them. We can play Chelsea and beat them. City, beat them. PSG, beat them. We can beat these giants across Europe. But we never seem to be able to beat Barcelona. And I don't want to say Real Madrid are owned by Barcelona or something like that. But what I will say is Barcelona are a side that Real Madrid do not like playing against. And Barcelona are a side that often beat Real Madrid. And look, fair enough to Barcelona. I swear I've said that so many times on this channel now. It's something that I don't really want to be saying, but we can only accept that fact. And move on from it. Yep, some chances. Lewandowski with a thunderbolt attempt after 3 minutes. Rafinha's header pushed away by Courtois after 5 minutes. Rafinha cuts onto his left foot before unleashing one, forcing Courtois to tip it over. 34 minutes. And lastly, Cava picks out Asensio and he scores, but it's offside. I think it's very, very tight. When I first saw it, I was like, no way it's offside. I still don't think it's offside, and you could call me biased, but so what? I'm gutted that that goal didn't stand. Of course, I think it was so tight, very, very tight, and maybe the referee got it correct, maybe the referee got it wrong. He made a decision, and we just have to live with it. There is no point, going on and moaning about something that, one, cannot be changed, two, isn't in our control anyways, and three, pushing and deflecting the blame when we should be looking at ourselves going, we didn't play good enough. We took, the last 15-20 minutes was realistically where we started trying to get something out of the game, and when you commit that much going forward towards the end of the game, you allow Barca to get on the attack, and just that one simple attack, and Barca with a clinical finish, and winning it. But we just have to move on. And look, I'm not gonna say I'm not sad about it. I'm not disappointed about it, because in fact I did say in my preview that if Barca win, Barca win. If Real Madrid win, Real Madrid win. I don't want to be here crying over it, because look, Barca have been the deserved champions if they do win it, and I think they will. They have been the side that deserve to have won this Laliga trophy. They've played incredibly well, and I said this in the preview that Barcelona might not be having a good game, but when they're having a bad game, they somehow still manage to scrape a 1-0 win. And good teams do that. Good teams find a way to win, even if they're not playing their best. And you can't expect the good teams to play their best all the time, anyways. But Barcelona are an incredible side. They've done really, really well this season, and they deserve the La Liga trophy. I'm not going to be saying, oh, they don't deserve it, and start saying that they pay the refs and stuff, because in fact, I genuinely do think that they are a very good side, and they are deserved champions of La Liga. For Real Madrid, though, I would say Real Madrid fans, and I myself haven't got too optimistic, but I would say, don't be thinking to yourselves, oh, we are going to win the Champions League. It doesn't matter. Oh, we are going to win the Copa del Rey. When you've got one game against Barcelona at the Santiago Bernabeu where you lost 1-0, and then now you've just gone to the Camp Nou, Spotify Camp Nou, and lost 2-1. What makes you think that the second game at the Spotify Camp Nou, the exact same stadium, would end in a favour for us? Barca will be looking at that game going, it's one more game with a 1-0 lead, we're playing at home. Just go out there, maybe get an early goal, and then defend, and we are through to play either Osasuna or Atletico Bilbao. That's all they need to do. Real Madrid will have to push again. We know that Real Madrid coming into this game had to go forward, had to push for the goal, had to score early on. So I'm not too sure whether we will do it against Barca in the second game. In terms of the Champions League, you never know. Last 8, so what are we making against Chelsea? We might have to play Bayern or City. And, whatever happens, right, we'll still have to play one of the 3 huge teams, right? And, look, Chelsea, if we can overcome Chelsea, which I think we can, it's, like I said, Bayern Munich, Manchester City, you've got to play one of these to get to the final, not even to win it, get to the final, where you might play a Napoli, a Benfica. So for me, the Champions League is something that I'm not too optimistic about, and I don't think we should be. There's no reason for any other teams to be very optimistic about the Champions League, because it's a very open game. So we'll see, but hope you guys have enjoyed today's video. As you guys can probably tell, I'm very, very tired. I had about 2 hours of sleep last night. So, yep, I, actually, before the game started at about, so obviously it's 8 p.m. Spanish time, right? But, or is this the UK time? I have no idea, but it's 8 p.m. for the game, but for me, it's 4 a.m. So I went to sleep at about 3 plus in the morning. Just had to get some stuff done, and then when I woke up at about 6 plus, that's about 2 hours slash 3 hours. I woke up to this, pretty poor result. So I apologize if I did say anything that was offensive or, just say anything wrong. Really, I mean, I did say Modric was young earlier on. Forgive me about that. But when you get into that stage where you have lack of sleep, and yeah, it's really 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 poor. So yeah, hope you guys have enjoyed today's review. Hit the like button, stay subscribe to the channel if it's on already, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.